Hey guys, welcome to our day 2 Let's Talk IBO business session on our celebratory 4-year birthday week at Arise to the Top. Today we have our special guest, Pia Hill with Ptax Accounting, and she will be talking about taxes as an IBO and agent, answering the questions that you may have, and giving away all sorts of gems, goodie bags, and additional income opportunities. Hey Pia, how are you today?
Hey, Paris, I'm fine. How about yourself?
I am doing great. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I always need to get freshened up on tax stuff. So
Well, I'm here to give it to you. I'm giving you all the good stuff.
thank you. Yes, you always have the good stuff. So before we get started, you guys, in the description box below this video will be the information that you can reach out to Pia at a later time with for any questions that you may have or services you may be interested in. So just check that description box down below and it'll give you all the information you need. So I am going to hop off of my video so that you can bless us with all those gems you have.
All right, so let me go ahead and, this is my first time working this screen. So give me 1 second. Let me get everything together. All right, let me find you. All right, give me 1 second, everyone. I'm getting this together for you. Okay, can you let me know, Paris, if you guys can see my screen? Let's see.
There we go. I can see your screen.
Okay, do you see it loading now? Presentation?
Yes.
Okay. All right, everyone. So welcome to Fundamentals of Taxes for IBOs. My name is Pia Hill, and I am a tax specialist. I am the owner and one of the accountants and tax specialists for Ptax Accounting. Just to give you a little bit of history about myself, I've been preparing taxes for many years. Let me just say it like that. I have experience in preparing individual and small business, individual, small business, medium, and large business tax returns. I am able to prepare taxes, all different types of tax returns, such as, individual tax returns, like I say, small business tax returns, and fiduciary tax returns, as well as nonprofits and, things of that nature. So coupled with the taxes, I actually have a background in accounting as well. So when you prepare taxes, especially when you get into more complex taxes, such as corporations and things like that, you have to really understand accounting because accounting is an element that is included with different types of business taxes. So that's why when I created my business, I wanted to make sure that I included not just taxes, but accounting too. All right. So that I can be able to make sure that I'm able to prepare taxes all the way through and not just a portion of them. Okay. So let's get started. So what is business taxes? So the meaning of business taxation refers to the taxes that businesses must pay as a normal part of business operations. So whether you are a sole proprietor, partner, part of a limited liability company, or a corporation, your business is responsible for adhering to tax regulations. Now, those tax regulations are for the federal government, as we know it as the Internal Revenue Service, aka IRS, and also your state and local tax agencies require taxes to be prepared for your business. Now, there are certain states that don't require state taxes, but so for those states that don't require state taxes, then you don't have to worry about preparing those taxes. However, there may be local tax returns that may be required. It all just depends on your state. However, definitely though from the IRS do require businesses to report taxes. That's just a federal law and a federal rule. So what makes up basically it should be what makes up a business tax return. There are multiple factors that make up a tax return, but for the sake of this presentation, we're going to focus on income and expenses. So the thing is like I say, when you're preparing a tax return, it's just so many different elements in a tax return. However, what I wanted to do is I wanted to break it down to make it easier for you guys so that you can be able to understand some parts of the tax return. And for you, especially being IBOs, one of your main focuses is going to be income and expenses. So what is income? Income is money that is received by the business based on a service, product, or investments. So income is money coming into the business. Okay, so if you could see, I made emphasis on the word in. So that's money that's coming into the business. So being that you guys are IBOs, most of we're talking about Arise as being the vendor. An example of income it comes from the form 1099 NEC. In the past, it was 1099 MISC, which is 1099 miscellaneous, but that form was done away with to report non-employment compensation for it started this 2021 tax year. So now all of the income that's coming in is actually reported on a form 1099 NEC, and that's for, again, non-employment compensation. That's what NEC stands for. And this is the form that Arise actually provides to you at the end of the year so that you can report this income on your tax return, on your business tax return. You also have what is called administrative fees. These are the fees that you actually collect from your CSPs, or some people refer to them as agents. And what that is, everyone has their own fee based on their business. Everyone, runs their IBO however they choose. So whatever that administrative fee is that you charge for your CSPs, you have to make sure you keep note or record of those fees, because you have to include those in as a form of income for your business, because that's exactly what it is money that's coming into your business. Now, what are expenses? Expenses is something you pay to operate your business. So expenses could be tangible or intangible items. So to give you an idea of tangible items, or what tangible items mean, is these are items you can touch. So for example, you have like your desk, your headset, phones, things of that nature. These are the things that you need in order to operate your business. And these things are things that you can actually touch. Now, we also have what is called intangible items. These are items that you cannot touch. However, you do use them to operate your business. And for example, some of the examples that we have for intangible items are, you have your internet. If you have a website, your site needs to be hosted. So you have web hosting. You have your consultation fees. Like, say, for instance, if, after this webinar, you would go and set up a consultation with me later on, or if you had consultation maybe with Paris or Rise to the Top, or whatever consultation you have for your business, that is an intangible item. So, but it is an expense that you can write off. And then a lot of you guys should be familiar with voice over IP. That's a phone service that's used. And remember, that's something that you can't touch the actual phone service. However, you can write off the service. All right. And then also what I wanted to do is I did want to note also as an expense, and this is something that you can write off, payroll of $600 or more that's paid out to each of your CSPs or agent is reported on a form 1099 NEC. So that means that any agent that you pay less than $600 to, you're not required to provide them a 1099 NEC. However, you will keep a log of that person's compensation, and you still can write it off as a under the category of contract labor. So you can still write that off. So it's not just because you didn't complete a 1099 NEC doesn't mean that you negate the expense. No, you still can use that expense and deduct it on your tax return, because that is money that you still paid out. But any payroll that you provide of a total of $600 plus to any or each of your CSPs, you must report it on a Form 1099 NEC. All right. And then that agent will in turn turn around and use that 1099 NEC to be able to report that income on their tax return. So, so here it just says expenses is money that go out of the business. So remember, again, the key word is out. Any money that you're paying to go out of the business, that goes out of the business, is considered an expense.
So really quick question we had come in through our Facebook. We had an IBO ask, where would they get the 1099 NEC to give the agents, and how do they give it to the agents?
Okay, well, that actually is a service that I provide. My company provides, where we actually prepare 1099 NECs. There's different companies out there that will prepare those Form 1099 NECs for you. If you decide that you want to utilize a payroll company to provide payroll services for your IBO, they will create those Form 1099 NECs at the end of the year for your CSPs. Hopefully that answered your question.
Thank you. That should answer. They said if they do not go through anyone, is there somewhere they are able to get the form themselves if they want to self-file?
The only way that they can actually get that form is they have to request it from IRS. However, IRS do require for these forms to be electronically filed. Now, a lot of forms back in the days, IRS wanted them to be manually. They was okay with the manual forms where you can mail them in and things like that. But a lot of times now, well, with the new rules and regulations and laws, they changed so much with IRS. A lot of those forms, they really want to be sent electronically so that they can go ahead and be reviewed, pretty fast, instead of them going through the old snail mail way of being able to process things. So it's better that you go through a company or a software company that offers this service, or like I say, or you could contact me to prepare them for you so that they can be electronically filed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the formula. So let's recap. Income is the money that comes into the business, and then we have expenses is money that goes out of the business. So we have income minus expenses equal profit and loss. So any income that you have come in, you minus it by your expenses. Whatever that bottom figure is at the end of the day is your profit and loss. So let's talk about profit and loss. Profit and loss displays the bottom line of the financial part of your business. It shows if your business gained or made money, or if it did not make money all during the year. So basically what they're saying is, what this actually means is, say for instance, if you, your income for the year was $10,000, right? And you only have $5,000 of expenses. So if you take $10,000 and you minus it by 5,000, you have $5,000 left. So now you have a profit. Your business has a profit of $5,000. So that $5,000 you're going to be taxed on. All right. Now, if you have a sole proprietorship, that tax is going to be at 15.3%. Remember, let me make that clear. If you have a sole proprietorship, The tax on that profit is going to be 15.3%. That's considered self-employment tax. However, if you have a corporation, like an S Corp or a C Corp or a partnership or a standalone LLC, because there's a difference between a single member LLC or just a regular sole proprietorship, which is could be a LLC. No, let me not say that. So you have what is called a standalone LLC. That is something that you have to be elected through. Your LLC has to be elected and receive approval from IRS. So that means that your LLC will just act as a corporation. When that is the case, then that corporation will file its own tax return and it will not be included on your personal tax return. All right. Now, but if you just have a regular sole proprietorship, which you're doing business as an LLC, now in that case, you are still being taxed at 15.3%. And that's self-employment tax. But like I say, all of the other corporations and things like that, they're taxed at different rates. So that's why I didn't provide a rate for you. All right. Now let's speak about loss. So let's use that same example, but let's kind of switch it up. All right. So say, for instance, if you, So say, for instance, you had a business and that business, you made $5,000 on the business, right? But then you turned around and you had $5,000 in expenses. So let me, because I want to put this out here too. So you have $5,000 that you actually received. You brought into as income, and then you have $5,000 that you expense. 5,000 from 5,000 is $0. So 5,000 from 5,000 is $0. So you pay no tax and you actually break even. Okay. So then what happens is if you end up with a loss in your business, that means that if you end up losing money and you end up with $3,000 that you lost or $5,000 that you lost, you can't be taxed on a loss. Okay. IRS cannot tax you on money that you don't have. The business no longer has it. So it's not taxed on it. The only thing you're taxed on is the profit. All right. So I know this is a question that I get from a lot of people who are small business owners. A lot of them always ask about like what is called estimated tax payments, or some people ask about quarterly tax payments. And estimated tax payments are payments that's paid to the IRS on a quarterly basis to reduce your business tax liability. So say, for instance, if you end up owing $5,000 to IRS, that was your profit. Well, maybe next year, instead of you actually paying taxes on that $5,000, if you end up paying quarterly taxes every quarter to the IRS, then at the end of the year, the quarterly taxes end up totaling up to $5,000. At the end of the year, now you don't owe any business taxes to IRS at all, because now it's considered what they consider a wash, that you broke even. So the ideal thing to do, especially if you profit in your business, is you want to make quarterly tax payments or estimated tax payments, because like I say, at the end of the day, it will reduce your tax liability. If you don't reduce that tax liability and you don't have other things on your tax return to help bring that business tax liability down, then that means that you're going to owe those taxes. But if you pay your taxes through the year, then after that you won't owe, or you might break even, or you might just owe just a little bit. It all just depends on the circumstances from, what your taxes look like. You have a question, Paris? Because I can kind of hear something in the background.
Okay, after this question, you guys can keep putting them in, but I'm just going to keep track of them. We'll do it at the end. But I'll go ahead and get this question through. So the estimated tax quarterly payments, are they required to be paid, or is it optional, is the question that was asked?
They're not required to be paid. However, it's a good idea to pay them. if you don't pay the estimated tax payments throughout the year, just make sure that whatever you do, you make that payment when it's time for tax, for the tax deadline. You make sure when you submit that tax return, you make that payment, whatever it is that you owe. But then, because if you don't, what's going to end up happening is IRS will penalize you for underpayment penalty. You will be penalized for it. If there's nothing else on your tax return that would be able to help suffice what you owe, then in that case, they're going to charge you an underpayment penalty. So like I say, it's up to you. The only time that this changes is if you make a certain amount of money. IRS will actually send you a letter, and then they will request that you pay quarterly tax payments. Now, if you are an S corp or some type of corporation, and you are salary, and you are receiving a W-2, then in that case you're going to be making these payments. But that's something that you have to kind of work with along with your your payroll service, because basically they're going to be taking this money out your check anyway. Well, like I say, I don't want to go into that because every business operates a little bit differently. But at the same time, at some point, you will have to pay these payments. If IRS requests them, then you need to pay them. If they tell you that you're not making enough money, but at the end of the year, you need to make sure you pay them, pay your final amount, then you pay it that way. All right. Oh, so what I did is I provided you guys with the dates of when they're due. So for quarter one, you have they're due on April 15th. For quarter two, they're due on June 15th. Quarter three, those are due on September 15th. Quarter four, those are due on January 15th. However, if the 15th lands on a Saturday or Sunday or a holiday, the payment is due the following IRS business day. All right. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, for quarter four, instead of the taxes being due January 15th of 2022, I believe I'm not sure, but I believe it is for January 15th, 2022. I think that falls on a weekend or something like that. So I believe that quarterly payment is not actually due until January 18th, 2022. All right. So the common mistakes made by IBOs. So this is the thing. I prepare tax returns for IBOs all the time. And these are some of the common mistakes or the common issues that arise when preparing their tax returns or when I'm looking at their tax returns. So the first thing is business entities. So like I say, you have your sole proprietorship, your S corporation, C corporation, your limited liability corporation, LLC, and I forgot to also add partnership. All right. Most IBO, well, I'm not going to say most, but some of the IBOs I have done business with, they have no idea what type of business entity they have. It is very important when you're running your business. I don't care what business that you're running, regardless of the industry. You should understand and know what business entity your business has. If you're not sure what your business entity is, when your EIN was created with IRS, they generate a form, which is called a form SS4. On that SS4 form, you can look on there and it'll tell you what form you need to file at the end of the year. When they tell you which form you need to file at the end of the year, that lets you know what business entity that they have registered in their system. So whatever business entity they have registered in their system is the type of tax return they're looking for you to have prepared and submitted and reported to them. If your information is not correct, they're going to turn around and they're going to send you a letter and they're going to state to you, hey, this is not this information does not match what we have. So then after that, that comes, you have to contact them, find out what information they have, and then your tax return is going to have to be amended. If the information they have is correct and the information that you had previously, or you had the tax prepared to prepare for you and submit to them was not correct, that tax return will need to be amended. All right. So to alleviate all of those issues, you want to always know what type of business entity you have. Number one. If you're not sure, you can contact the IRS business specialty and tax line, and they will be able to help you. All right. The other common mistake that's made by IBOs is the lack of knowledge of business tax return due dates. So a lot of people, a lot of IBOs have no idea what the due dates are for tax returns. Some of them think that all tax returns are due on April 15th, which is not true, because some tax returns are actually due in March 15th. So what you need to do is you need to find out, depending on your business entity, when is the due date for your tax return. If you do not file an extension for that business tax return, if you're not able to have the tax return submitted to IRS by the time of the due date, you can file an extension. If you do not file that extension, then what's going to happen is IRS is going to start penalizing you for a late tax return. And the penalties can go all the way up to $2,300, just so you know. So it's very important that you know what your due dates are for your tax return based on your business entity. All right. Now, this is a common mistake, and I'm calling it a mistake because I'm going to tell you why. And this is something a lot of people have questions on. So let me go ahead and explain it. So what I notice a lot of times is a lot of IBOs actually issue themselves a Form 1099 NEC because they feel like since they're servicing, that they are a contractor, and that they should issue themselves a 1099 NEC. And that's actually incorrect. So basically, I'm going to try to break this down to you as easy as I can. All right. So basically, the way that it works is if you have an LLC, all right, and you can contact IRS, they're going to tell you the same thing. When you set up an LLC, and if it's not a standalone LLC and you're a single member LLC, the business name is actually your name. You're just doing business as your company name. So if that's the case, that means when it's time to do your tax return, the tax return, which is your profit and loss statement, actually is already in your name. All right. And then on the profit and loss statement, which is your Schedule C, is going to show your DBA is your company name. So with that being said, there's no need for you to issue yourself a Form 1099 NEC because the income is already being reported under your name on the Schedule C. All right. And anything that's now all of your CSPs and your agents, now you would actually write them off as contract labor. And then whatever is left, now that's on you. So that's your income coming in from your business. That's your administrative fees if you have CSPs, and then any income that you receive from Arise, minus your expenses, that then determines your profit and loss. So I hope that's clear. Now, in regards to if you have like a S corporation or C corp or LLC or anything like that, and it depends on how your bylaws are set up. Like I said, so many other factors when it comes down to business entities. That's why those tax returns are more complex. But in those cases, you would issue yourself a W-2. You would come up with a salary that's compatible for the industry. And then after that, when you come up with that salary, then you are to pay federal tax payments to cover your Social Security, your Medicare, and your federal withholding. Now that income now is reported. Well, it's expensed from your business entity, which would be your S corporation. So again, you will not report your income on a 1099. That income, if you have a business entity such as an S corp, C corp, those type of businesses, that salary is to be considered, that's a W-2 salary. And then that's how that income, your salary, whatever money you're using for yourself, that salary needs to be reported on a W-2. All right. So I hope that's clear. The next common mistake made by IBOs is they prepare business tax returns themselves using a DIY such as TurboTax, Free Tax USA, etc. The reason why this is a mistake is because, first of all, like I just said, a lot of people are confused on how businesses are set up in the first place. They're also confused on which forms they should be using. And they're also confused on, they think that, this is what I'm finding, okay? So I'm just going off the history. So what I'm saying is I'm going based on experience. And what I'm finding is a lot of IBOs, they have S corporations and C corps and LL, limited liability. Well, some of them don't have any standalone LLCs, but they have partnerships and things of that nature. And they're actually preparing these tax returns on TurboTax under a Schedule C. And that's totally incorrect. That's a total different tax return. The laws and the rules and the regulations for those tax returns, those business tax returns, just totally different. The way that they come through, they pass through, is considered, like, some of it is pass through income. They're all reported totally different, even on your personal return, if it has pass through income. So that's why it's very, 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 very important that you have someone that has knowledge in business tax returns or complex tax returns to prepare those taxes. Because see, when IRS get that tax return through the DIY, you can't come back and tell them, oh, well, I wasn't sure, I didn't know, I just answered questions. IRS don't care about that, because they know there's people out there, there's tax preparers out there who's able to prepare your tax return for you. And then, as a business, they're looking at it like, you're professional, and this is another level of business. So you can't just go in doing things all, like willy-nilly. You have to go and you need to seek professional help in regards to it, or you need to be able to learn how to do it yourself, or to study, gain the knowledge. But otherwise, IRS is not going to accept the excuses. They still going to penalize you no matter what, okay? Unless they want to be nice because of COVID and waive fees, but a lot of those days are over, all right? Another common mistake made by IBOs is they do not include administrative fees in their business income. And those are the fees that they are receiving from the CSPs and agents. They're not adding that into their business as income. And remember, that is a part of your income. Any form of money that you are receiving for services, you have to add that into your income. All right. Another common mistake is IBOs are not issuing Form 1099 NECs to their CSPs or agents. Like I mentioned before, any CSPs that you pay $600 or more to, you are required to report a Form 1099 NEC on their income. All right. And then last but not least, they receive tax preparation services from an inexperienced tax preparer. And what I mean by that is that tax preparers, sometimes they're not familiar. This is another thing that I'm starting to find a lot. A lot of the tax preparers out there, they're not familiar with this particular industry. Dealing with Arise or the virtual call center and things of that nature. So they really don't have a clear understanding of how to write off that tax return. They're just looking at it like, oh, okay, it's just a tax return and I'm just going to put in the income expenses and keep it pushing. But in this particular case, like I just explained to you, for this like administrative fees and, other things that you can write off, a lot of them are not clear on that. So they're that's why I said they're inexperienced, because they don't have experience on preparing tax returns for this particular industry. The other thing is a lot of them, I mean, there are some tax preparers out there, again, that is not familiar with complex tax returns. So if they're not familiar with complex tax returns and they're not used to preparing tax returns or business tax returns on a more advanced level, then at the end of the day, yes, I mean, they're preparing your tax return, but again, you're gonna be the one that's gonna get that letter from IRS stating that the tax return was prepared incorrectly. All right. And so to sum things up, what is in the Ptax goodie bag for you? So I have a goodie bag for you, all that is here in attendance of our webinar. So for you guys, and these are the people this is for the people that is actually watching the webinar live. So you get a free 15-minute tax consultation. You get $50 off of tax preparation fees. And then you get a free electronic tax worksheet. All right. And then another part of my business is I am a tax service bureau. So I am offering opportunities for you IBOs who may be interested in, making some additional income. So with that being said, I do have a referral program, and this is for taxes and accounting, of course, or even for the software. I have a referral program. You will receive $50 for each referral, once the services are rendered. That means that the person that you refer to us will actually have to, get services and pay for their services. And then after that, you will get a $50 referral fee. All right. I also have an opportunity for you IBOs who would be interested in preparing tax returns for your CSPs or your agents. That comes with a basic income tax course and some other goodies. All right. So you would have to contact me, of course, in order to find out the value of that. And plus your price will be discounted because you are on this live. Also, if you wanted an opportunity in learning how to start a tax business, again, you would receive some goodies in there that includes even free tax software. And again, learning how to start a tax business, run and operate a tax business, and receiving basic income tax training. And like I say, for all of you guys who are on this live tonight, there is a promotion for you guys. I believe, Paris, is that how we're going to send the information out to them? How does that work? I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yes. Hey, Mary. So you might want to hit mute because it's gonna, I guess, the reverb on it. But we're gonna put a link in the description box. Well, actually, I'm sorry, we're gonna put a link in the chat for those of you that are here live. And then you'll get to schedule your consultations. But for those of you that are possibly watching the video after and you were not here live, there will be a link in the description box where you can sign up for any of the opportunities that you have available here in the options. Now, let me further explain this to you guys because, I told you every day at the segments would offer additional income opportunities for you. So how you could use this as an IBO for the referral program. You could utilize this as a perk that you offer your agents. So they don't have to go find people to do taxes. They don't have to do any of that. You could let them know, hey, we have someone that we can refer you to that's a trusted source. And they get a great price for being one of your agents. And then you'll get $50 for every agent you send over there. And they get their taxes done. So that's how you can monetize with the referral services program. They're preparing your tax returns for your CSPs. You can learn how to do the taxes yourself through that program. And then you could prepare your CSP's tax returns yourself. That could, again, be a perk within your IBO where you're saying, hey, with us, we do have tax preparation services. And at that point, you're able to monetize. You could say, it's discounted because you're with our IBO. charge them what you charge them, and then you'll render the services yourself. So that's something. And then also outside of just your agents, you'll know how to prepare taxes after that. You can do others as well. The third opportunity is actually starting a tax business, which would be a whole addition to your IBO. So now you have a business that you're able to prepare taxes with that comes with the software, as well as an IBO business. You could really grow that and then use the agents you have within your IBO network and bring them over into your business to prepare taxes and build a company that way, because you'll already have the manpower with your IBO. A lot of people ask, what do you do with squatters? Well, one of the big things we do with squatters is we place them in other places for us. If they're squatting on our Arise IBO roster, well, if I have an opportunity at ACD, I had at one point a bunch of them servicing for our moving mills customer support. If I sell Legal Shield, if I prepare taxes, I'm using who's in my network first and bringing them on board to make more money. And that's a perk within itself, is to be an IBO that can provide ways for your agents to further their wealth in other ways outside of servicing. So that's just kind of a breakdown of how you could use each one of these opportunities as additional income in your company. But that was a sidebar. We are going to put the link in chat for you to schedule the appointment to get your goodie bag, as well as to discuss the additional opportunities further if you're interested in them.
Okay, thank you, Paris. And then did you want to speak about the YouTube person for tonight, or are you going to do that later?
Yes. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the list of questions I have, and then I do want to get to announcing our winners. You guys know we have our 3 ways to win every single day, our prizes. So we have our email winner, social media, and one of you will be selected today that's here in this YouTube. So we're going to go over that in a second. Pia, let me get these questions out the way for you. I have them written down. I was writing them as they were coming in. First question is, after adding fees to your income that you take from your agents, how do you show that portion that you paid Arise on your taxes so that you're not taxed for money you didn't receive?
Oh, well, like I said, it's a category. You can either create the category to show it as Arise fees, in your tax. Like I say, it all just depends on what type of business you have and what your entity shows, but you can put it as a other expense as Arise fees. If you want to put it as that, that's fine. It's just creating a category and writing off the amount that you paid into the fee. That's all.
Thank you. Jeanette asked, how do you find out if the IRS approved your S corp? Said she never heard anything back after filing for it.
Okay, like I had mentioned before, you want to contact the IRS business and specialty tax line. Contact them and they will be able to assist you. They will let you know the status of your S election. I'm sure I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. You filed the form, I think it's 2553 is the election to be an S corp. Yeah, just contact that phone number and they should be able to assist you.
And I do want to be clear, just because I'm putting on the IBO sessions so that you guys have the correct information. Under Arise's rules, I guess, for being an IBO, you are supposed to be an S or a C corp. You're not supposed to be operating as an IBO, as a sole proprietor, or like a regular LLC. That's not S or C corp. Per their, if you go on their FAQs, if you go on in AVA to look at the chat, everyone is supposed to be either S or C corp. That is an IBO. This does not go for actual agents. You can sign up as a sole proprietor and just be an agent and just service, but you are not supposed to be an IBO without being S or C corp. And that you have to file the additional form for it, whether it's 2553 or what's the other one? It's like 80 something. The C corp form.
For C corp?
Yeah.
I can't think of the form right off the top of my head, but yeah, you have to file those forms in order to become that particular entity.
Yeah.
But first you have to, make sure that you're going through your Secretary of State as well to set up those corporations. So it's just more than just, setting up everything with IRS. You have to follow the rules of your state as well.
Yeah, some states will allow you to set up an LLC the regular way, like Georgia does, and then you just file the S or C Corp forms. And then I know that some states require additional steps. So that's a very good point. Every state, all you have to do is go on Google, type in the state name and Secretary of State, and that Secretary of State website will come up, and then you can kind of look for the rules there. If you have Legal Shield, they can also help you if you call them with giving you the information that you need as far as which way to go with that. And as Pia stated, she has an abundant amount of services that can probably assist with that as well. The next question I have is, can you re-explain where to look to find out what entity you have in the SS4 form?
Oh, okay. Oh, well, most of the time it's printed like right in the middle of the SS4 form. You just have to look at your SS4 form and read it. But most of the time it's printed kind of like in the middle, and it'll state where the form, what form you're required to file. If for whatever reason you can't find that information, and since this question is kind of coming up, or people have questions in regards to business entities and S corps and things like that, I actually just pulled up the phone number for you guys for the IRS business and specialty tax line. So make sure you make a note of this. Their phone number is 1-800-829-4933. Again, that's 1-800-829-4933, and that is the IRS business and specialty tax line.
The other thing I do want to mention as well is that there is a deadline for you to get your 1099 NECs to your agents. You don't just have an abundant amount of time. Pia, could you kind of elaborate on the deadline to have these 1099 NECs in the mailbox? They have to be postmarked by, or if you're electronically doing it, upload it by. Could you kind of go over the deadline?
Yes, so definitely, if you are mailing the 1099 NECs to your CSPs, the mailing date is January 31st. All right. So that's the day you're supposed to have it mailed in. And the electronic date, the thing is, they keep changing a lot of these days, to be honest with you. Let me see. Because of the COVID, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me see. So for 2021, even so for 2021 tax year, I'm not sure about 2022 just yet, because that hasn't been submitted. That information hasn't come out yet, because there's still, the IRS is still in negotiations in regards to tax laws and with legislation and things like that. But for 2021 tax year, the Form 1099 NECs, they were to be filed by paper or electronically by February 1st, 2021.
So,
all right. So you need to mail them out.
Deadlines.
Yeah, those are the deadlines. So you need to make sure that you mail them out by January 31st. They're supposed to be postmarked. If you're going to mail them out through January 31st. Now, if you're going to email them to your clients, your CSPs, you can do that. But again, you need to make sure that you send them by January 31st, and they need to be emailed through a secure portal. The information must be encrypted, because that's a big deal right now with IRS. Any information that's pertinent, such as, like Social Security numbers and things of that nature, you cannot email that information unless you are sending it through a secure portal.
And the other thing is with that, you have to get permission to be able to give them electronically their 1099 NEC. So you need to have written permission And the paper, those of you that are in masterclass or have the document bundles that we have, the template for that is in there. But the paper that you get the permission on must have your business name, address, and phone number. They must have a way to opt out or change their mind, and it has to tell them how they can do that.
Yes.
And then it has to have on there literally like a box or something where they check or initial that has stated that they are giving you permission to electronically remit their 1099 NEC to them. That has to be done prior to you sending them that form electronically.
That's correct. Thank you for that. Thank you for adding that, Paris.
Deb asked, don't you have to have a minimum income of 40K to file for S Corp? In general, I know that's a no to that, but Pia, you're the expert, so I'm going to ping that over to you.
You just answered it. You just answered it.
Yeah, no, you don't. Not to file for an S Corp.
No.
All right, you guys. So that was all the questions I had. Did you guys have any other questions before we hit this winners list? So today we are giving out Ptax and Accounting with Pia is giving away a t-shirt with your company name on there, which will help you with your marketing and advertising. So our YouTube live winner will win that very lovely plush t-shirt with your company name. Everybody that is in attendance live today, you guys will be getting the goodie bag, which I think is super amazing. A 15-minute tax consult, $50 off tax preparation, and a free electronic tax worksheet. So, let me
And they get
find
the planner as well, right? What about the planner?
Yes,
do they
and the
as well?
planner. You guys are also getting the planner, the gold planner from Ptax and Accounting. That link that I need to put in chat, that's the one that you sent me earlier, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I am going to put that link in chat now, you guys.
That's
For you.
Contact us. Yeah, that the planner. That's something that you and I have to figure out how you're going to get that to them, or were you going to put that in the description box?
Yeah, the planner access will be in the description box, but you'll also there'll be an email going out. So with the planner attached to it tomorrow in our email wrap up from today, this YouTube video and the planner will be in there.
Okay.
So you guys will receive that. Then I just put the link in chat. You guys can go in the chat, click on that link so that you can sign up for your free consultation with Pia and claim your goodie bag. So the winner for YouTube Live is Pierre. Oh, Pierre, we're from Masterclass. Pierre Collins, yay! Congratulations, you have won that logo T-shirt, plush, courtesy of Ptax and Accounting. Our social media winner. I do not know what your actual name is because it is under your business name, but VC Business Solutions. You have won our social media contest for today. So you get a one-on-one power hour session with me. I will be reaching out to you for that. So that's VC Business and Solutions. And then our email winner, who's getting dinner, that rhymes, winner, dinner for the winner, is Daniel Held from Daniel. That's Work at Home Equipment Solutions. So Daniel, you won our email contest today. Tomorrow we're doing the same thing. You have 3 ways to win: coming to our YouTube Live, participating in our email challenges and contests, or doing our social media ones. So thank you guys for coming out tonight. This will be the replay will be on YouTube. Thank you, Pia, for all of that amazing information. I love doing webinars with you. You always drop gems. So thank you so much for that.
And before you close, I have just the last. Do you want me to provide them my contact page and everything here to close it out? Okay. So I'll just go ahead and close it out on my end, and then you can finish it up. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I want to leave you guys. I'm sorry. So I want to leave you guys with the 5 P's, which is the words of wisdom, and this is something that you guys should know about. You should know about it in business and life, and in life. So pre-planning prevents poor performance. So always keep that in the back of your mind. when you're doing anything. Like I say, you can apply this to life and to business. And then I just want to end it off with my contact information. My company is Ptax Accounting. The email address is tax@ptaxandaccounting.com. Our contact number is 877-257-4778. Our website is www.ptaxandaccounting.com. And you can visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/Ptax Accountant. So that is my information. And then not only that, like Paris said, she dropped a link inside of the chat so then you guys can schedule your consultation. All right, it's all yours now, Paris. Do your thing. I'm gonna stop my share.
No problem. Thank you so much, Pia. Yes, you guys, thank you so much for coming out. Tomorrow we will be live at 5 p.m. Eastern, again here on YouTube. Tomorrow we're going over business funding and pretty much where and how to get funding to grow your business and pivot it within and outside of Arise. So I will see y'all tomorrow at 5. Again, you can watch this replay if you need to take notes or get any information you may have missed. You can watch it on YouTube, and I'll see y'all tomorrow for our continuation of our 4th anniversary at Arise to the Top. Thank you.
Right.
I'm out of breath. Congratulations to the winners.
Yeah, congratulations.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You want to